everyone, welcome back to Velvet Moments. Have you ever noticed how the simplest things, a glance, a smile, a hand held for just a second, can reveal more than words ever could? For Jimin and Jungkook, those small, quiet moments are always placed under a magnifying glass. Some see them as harmless signs of friendship, while others label them as wrong, inappropriate, or even forbidden. Yet beneath all the speculation, rumors, and carefully fabricated narratives, there is one undeniable truth. Their closeness is real, sincere, and consistent. Today we're going to look at those moments, small gestures during live streams, lingering glances, natural closeness on and off stage, that speak louder than any explanation ever could. Because through it all, one thing remains clear. Jimin and Jungkook choose each other freely, joyfully, and without hesitation. Over time, it has become impossible to ignore a troubling pattern. Every interaction between Jimin and Jungkook, no matter how brief or natural, is questioned, dissected, edited, or poorly received by certain parts of the fandom, as if even their most ordinary gestures are somehow inappropriate. This exaggerated reaction reveals a painful truth. The issue is not the gesture itself but who is involved. When Jimin and Jungkook are together, it is rarely allowed to be seen as simple human closeness. For some, it threatens a narrative they have protected for years. Throughout 2025, their bond became increasingly visible and inseparable. After completing their military service, they didn't just reunite. They returned with a presence that felt warmer, stronger, and more reassuring than ever. That closeness didn't appear overnight. 2 years in the military meant intense physical training, exhausting routines, and emotionally heavy experiences. They shared rooms, shared time, and even when duty briefly separated them, they always found their way back to each other. These aren't fan-made assumptions. They are stories and experiences Jimin and Jungkook themselves have shared. Still, their bond continues to be questioned. Rumors claimed they were unhappy, that Jungkook felt burdened, that Jimin was too dependent, that their togetherness was something forced. This happened despite both of them openly expressing gratitude for each other's support during one of the most challenging periods of their lives. But for some, reality didn't matter. The narrative was already decided, and anything that contradicted it had to be ignored. When they were finally discharged from the military, the voices hoping for their separation grew loud. Speculations spread instantly, insisting they would distance themselves or couldn't stand each other anymore. And all of it was proven false, not through statements but through actions. Just 4 days after leaving the military, they were already filming Are You Sure? Season 2. 4 days were enough to dismantle months, even years, of malicious assumptions. Then came another attempt to rewrite the story. Jungkook was supposedly forced to film, pressured by the company or manipulated by Jimin. That narrative collapsed the moment the first episode aired. Jungkook himself shared that the idea came from him, that he wanted to film to surprise Jimin and to shift the dynamic of the show. He even spoke excitedly about future seasons and places they could visit together. It was his choice. Not the company's. Not Jimin's. Yet even that wasn't enough for some people. The problem isn't confusion or uncertainty. It's a refusal to accept reality. Certain extreme takeookers cannot accept that Jungkook genuinely wants to be with Jimin, comfortably, freely, and happily. Every time Jungkook confirms this through words or actions, the response is always the same: reinterpret, deny, or invent an alternative explanation. Dating rumors involving other people surface repeatedly, only to be disproven again and again. Curiously, these rumors always appear when Jimin and Jungkook's closeness becomes most visible. It's as if there's an urgent need to explain their bond without accepting the simplest truth. They are together because they want to be. This pattern is impossible to ignore. Evidence isn't accepted, it's altered. Clips are cut, moments are removed, phrases are twisted, and interactions are reassigned to fit an outdated narrative. When Jimin appears, he is labeled disruptive. When Jungkook chooses him, he's called annoying. When they are close, it's deemed suspicious. The solution is always the same: erase Jimin, minimize his presence, or distort the moment. But reality persists. Calmly, consistently, Jimin and Jungkook continue to show that there is nothing wrong with their relationship. They are united, comfortable, and free. And that truth unsettles those who want to impose a different story. Attempts to erase Jikook moments in recent live streams are real. Hugs, physical contact, shared smiles, meaningful glances, cut or reframed to fit another ship's agenda. This doesn't mean the moments don't exist. It means they are being controlled. Ironically, there isn't a lack of Jikook content. There is so much natural closeness between them that it requires active manipulation to make it disappear. For new fans, these edited versions create a false reality where Jikook seems distant or irrelevant. And that is precisely the goal. What stands out most is Jungkook's conscious choice. He doesn't let go of Jimin. He stays close, holding hands, leaning in, smiling, prolonging contact despite the stage, the cameras, or the surrounding noise. That simple choice dismantles years of forced narratives and proves that nothing about their bond is artificial. This isn't just interaction. It's tangible proof of genuine closeness, something that cannot be erased or rebranded. Every glance, every smile, every quiet moment in the middle of chaos shows that they choose each other consciously and happily. As seen during BTS's New Year Live, these dynamics aren't surprising to those who truly observe. Small gestures, like Jungkook carrying Jimin's phone, are the result of years of shared habits and trust. This isn't performance. It's comfort. Jimin can take Jungkook's phone and walk away without a word. Jungkook allows it without question. These gestures don't need explanation. They feel warm, natural, and intimate. Their glances, smiles, and perfectly measured distance form a language only they understand. And for those watching, it feels deeply human. In the end, every quiet moment, every shared smile, every subtle touch is proof of an unbreakable bond, real, consistent, and impossible to manipulate. And in the end, perhaps the question was never too intimate. But why does their intimacy make some people so uncomfortable? Jimin and Jungkook are not performing closeness. They are living it naturally and without apology. What we witness in their smallest gestures is not something forced or scripted, but something chosen every single day. No matter how often moments are cut, erased, or rewritten, the truth always finds its way back. Because real connection cannot be edited out. It lingers in the way they look for each other, in the ease of their presence, and in the quiet certainty that they are exactly where they want to be, together. This is Velvet Moments, where we look beyond the noise and listen to what actions quietly reveal. And as always, Jimin and Jungkook will continue to speak their truth, not through explanations but through presence, consistency, and a bond that remains unshaken.